Hey guys, Dallas here from Dunn Watson. We're just going to be doing a brief video today explaining how you'll assemble your Gen2 kitchen. To do that, we have all the bits and pieces here. We've got one pre-built which we'll keep referring back to. So first up, you're going to see you've got your outer carcass, which you'll note here. You've got your top tray, which is this one here. You have your bottom tray, which is this one here. And then you'll see that you have your bench and you have your two sets of mounting arms for the bench. In terms of hardware, you're going to receive two pairs of heavy-duty slides, which you'll note are the primary runners to carry your top drawer, and the other set is the running gear for your bottom drawer. And you get a small pair of 125 kilo slides, which is the sliding mechanism for your pull-out bench. You're also going to get a collapsible sink and a chopping board, and you're going to get a bag of nuts and bolts. So what we've got here is these are all your rivets, and that's for your rear wall if you choose to fit it. And within this bag you get a combination of M5 and M6 nut and bolts. You'll be able to visually tell the difference, especially with the M5 nuts and bolts. You see there's quite a size difference. And then obviously, once again, you'll be able to note the size difference between the M5 and M6 bolts. Reason being, 125 kilo slides take the smaller M5s, and the 227 kilo heavy duty slides will be taking the M6. So that's why you've got two bags in the one, two styles of bolts in the one bag, but it is nice and easy to tell. So just quickly, we'll just explain this unit, then we'll show you how you put it together. So when you're done, it's going to look like this, and what you've got here is your top drawer, which has your bulk storage, your quick grab condiments, and your paper towel holder. Your bottom drawer, which can be left or right-handed, hence why it's now universal, is, and you'll note that the direction you choose will be this cutout, because this is where you'd be standing to use your burner or your induction cooker, is your bottom tray. And then underneath that's your pull-out bench with sink. But obviously if you weren't using a sink, you can have your chopping board there and just increase your prep area. For cooking purposes, we always say that you should have phase one closed and just cook like this because you're reducing the cantilever on the whole system. However, if you did need to grab something, you do have the flexibility to pull it out, get what you need, and close it while you continue cooking. Right, so now we're just going to explain how you put all this together. Just going to grab this trolley to help me maneuver the unit as we go and make it nice and easy to tell. So the first thing you want to do is you want to grab your carcass and you want to make sure it's the right way up. The way you can tell is you've got this large cutout section here. If you imagine a center line in this unit, that cutout section is in the top half. So that's the top of the unit, little notch at the bottom, big notch at the top. This is how it needs to sit when you're putting it together. So first thing we're going to do, much like this unit, is we're going to fit this top drawer. So in order to do that, we need a pair of heavy duty slides. And you'll note we're always operating with levers going down. So you have your right pair and you have your left pair. What you want to do, when you bring these slides out to full extension, you're going to expose the holes that are needed, and it's going to be very easy to tell because they're your pilot holes. And if you start with the first one, which has literally got a circle around it, you're going to see that lines up there. And that's going to make it nice and easy to tell where the center and rear holes will be. So you're going to bolt them two together, and it's going to look something like this. Put it up nice and high, and then we're going to fit the top tray. So I'm just going to bolt that together now, and then we'll come back to the next stage. Okay, so we've now fitted the runners. Just going to operate like so. So you want to leave these out now at full extension. Something to note when you're putting them together is the head of the bolt always goes on the inside, and you have the washer on the outside. So that's the orientation of the nut and bolt when putting them together. Now, as I said, you're going to leave this at full extension. Given the size of this unit, it is helpful if you had a second person to help you hold it in place. But now what you're going to do is you're going to grab your top tray and you're going to line these hole centers up with the hole centers there. So we're just going to put this together now, and then we'll take you through to the next phase. Okay, so we've now fitted our front two holes on both sides of the slides. Same deal, but from an opposite orientation. So now you want to make sure that the button head of the bolt is on this side and the nut goes on the inside. Essentially what we're trying to achieve is a scenario where they pass each other inside the slide like so, and prevent a scenario given that these bolt heads are larger and they won't be able to pass each other. In a setting like this, the runner's going to collide with the nut. So it's very important that it's mushroom head to mushroom head on the inside. So the last thing to note when you get to the final hole with this unit, you'll see when I pull it out to full extension that my access window isn't allowing me access to that hole. And so what you need to do is you need to unlock your runner. And as you're looking through here and you slide it back, you'll see I can now gain access, which means you would then fit it like so. So I'll just go ahead and do both sides and we'll get to the next step. Okay, so it's all bolted together now. So you've got 3 nuts and bolts on the inside and the outside. You just want to open and close it a couple of times, and that's just going to help the lubricant work its way through the slides and ensure the pendulums are dropping and locking and there's a nice smooth operation. Now we need to do the bottom drawer, which means your second pair of heavy duty slides. We're going to be installing this tray in between the runners, and you're literally just going to be doing exactly what we've done up here. We're going to be doing it again down below. So first thing I'll do is you bring it out to full extension. As we're starting to get longer and this cantilever, you may want to set something else in place, because as weight comes on this, it's going to want to tilt forward. So you might want a separate saddle ready to catch that when you get to that point. But in order to fit the slides, same deal again, much like the top drawer, I'm going to bring this out all the way. And we're going to be mounting the runners, same deal, full extension, marrying up with the holes on the outside, and then for your drawer on the inside. So I'll put all that together and then we'll check back in. Okay, so we've put the second set of slides on and we're just starting to experience that cantilever issue. Now we've got the weight of the runners, which is why I've just got a second table or chair or whatever you've got, unless you have a bigger workbench, to just capture that during the install phase. If this carcass was bolted down before you put it together, you wouldn't have that issue because it'll be anchoring it flush. But anyway, where we're up to now is same as before. You're going to bring these bottom slides all the way out to full extension. And this is where you decide if your unit is going to be left or right-handed, whichever is going to work for you in your install. And once again, with the runners out to full extension, you're just going to be lining up these holes with the runners. There's 2 sets for every stage, and that's because if it's left or right-handed, it's going to dictate which. And the way you're going to know is you want this tray to sit flush with the face of the runner. So you'll see if I wanted it here, that's going to be my whole center there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to fit these nuts and bolts, get this tray on, and then we'll check back with you. Okay, so we're about to tighten all these up. So once again, I just thought we'd show you, same deal, at full extension, I'm easily able to access the front 2 holes. Once again, making note that the mushroom head is what goes on the inside of the runner. But you'll note here that this hole center on the inside is not visible from the outside. So all I need to do, as I slide the unit back in a bit, you'll see that I can now, through this window, a little bit finicky this part, through this window I can now gain access to put the final hole in. So we're just going to put that in, tighten it all up, and then we'll run through the next phase. Okay, so that's all done now. It's all nice and tight. Like so, working great. So the next stage now is your underside bench, which means we're now switching to our M5 nuts and bolts, and the remaining pieces is our bench top, our 125 kilo slides, and our angle bar. So first thing you want to do is make sure that your left runner, because we're still pressing down, left is on the left, right is on the right. So we've got what we need, and we're essentially going to be replicating what's happening here. And the stages that we're going to do that is first we're going to mount both of the arms. Same deal, we have pilot holes here. They're just going to line up with the pilot holes in the tray. The positioning of this is very simple. It runs flush, as you'll see, with the front of the unit. So this being our outer arm, we just find the hole centers like so. And you'll see them there, lined up nice and flush. And that's where the position of that one is, which would put this one over here. So we're going to hang this using our M5s, and then we'll fit our slides. Just to show you now, same deal with the slides. So in this scenario, the slide goes on the inside of the arm. So you're going to be mounting it like this. Once again, you get your hole centers, you pull it out to full extension. It's very easy. There's your first hole there. There's your second hole there. And when it comes to mounting these, same deal. I'm just going to be putting nut head on the inside, sorry, bolt head on the inside, and your nut will go on the outside, and we'll do that for both. But first, we're just going to hang the slide, hang the arms, sorry, then we're going to fit the slides, and then we'll check back in. Hey guys, so we've now fitted these two arms like so. Just see. Just want to open and close them a couple of times, make sure everything's running nice and smooth. It's now time to fit the bench. Obviously, two sides to this. The way you'll note, same deal. If you imagine a center line through the bench, the sink is always to the right-hand side. Once again, you just bring these runners out to full extension. You know that the front of this tray is going to sit flush with that runner, which is going to help you locate, as you see, that first hole there. Once again, we're just going to be grabbing those N5 nuts and bolts, and we're just going to be fitting this at full extension, and then we'll be all done. Okay, so our bottom tray is now fitted. So you'll see, press on the levers, close it like so, opens up like that. Just grab your collapsible sink and your chopping board. So we can now close it all up. Now we're just going to discuss the rear of the unit. So I'm just going to turn this around. So this is optional, but firstly what I'll mention is that from an install perspective, now that this unit's built, if you haven't put the carcass in yet, when you slide this unit out from the rear, you're able to climb in, you've got pilot holes, you'll be able to lean in and secure this unit down. So imagine you've screwed this into the floor of your trailer, your caravan, the back of your four-wheel drive, wherever. So it's now bolted down, and you can close this back up. This rear plate is optional, so you don't have to install it, but if you wanted to, you'll know, same thing again. You've got these pilot holes, and that will be lining up with the rear. You could actually run some silicone around it as well if you're worried about the weather getting in. And you would need the ability to use rivets, which not everybody can do from home, but you just line it up like so, and just be riveting the back on like that. And there you have it. There's the complete built unit. The last thing, as you're going along, you'll see that there's this laser film. And something to note is as you peel the film, you're going to have these lines. As you peel the film off, like on this side here, you'll see there's a line. A little bit of eucalyptus oil will clean that up nice and easy. So they're not scratches. This in fact is here to protect the unit from getting scratched in the manufacturing and assembly process of the unit. So this just peels off, you wipe it down with eucalyptus oil. That's going to take away that adhesive line, and it's going to be looking brand new. So there you have it, the assembly of a Gen 2 kitchen. If you have any questions, please give us a call or